Well, we've got the head off the Massey 65 engine. Now this is a 203 engine. It's a Perkins 203. I think they call them an A4 203, and we've got the head off now. And this is just a short video on removing the studs and all that, so we can pull the liners. And even though just pulling the head studs out is, look, it's probably teaching pigs to chew peas to a lot of you, because you know it's a simple process. But the idea is just to show people, just give you a couple of ideas on how to do it if you're not sure. My videos are about encouraging people to have a go at stuff, so and try and do your own repairs without doing without costing a fortune. You know, especially if it's a hobby. You know, hobbies need to be cheap and enjoyable. So I've taken the head off, and you can see I've got a couple of head studs here with the nuts still on them. They're the ones that just screwed out when I was undoing them. You notice I've got the black gloves on. I feel a bit strange with black gloves, but I've got to do a bit of work with some timber this arb, and when you play with black diesel tractors, it gets in your skin. So I probably should wear them all the time, but I'm not that comfortable wearing them. So the first thing we have to look at before we get too far into it is down this side. Now here's your camshaft side. Opposite the camshaft, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 short head studs, and all the rest, this one here, I'm just checking the level of this fella here, but I think all the rest are pretty well the same height. Looking across the top, they are the same height, so that makes it easier later on for you. If you know the 8 short ones on the injection pump side or away from the camshaft, well, you can work with that. Now I'm going to show a few ways to get a head stud out, and it's just there's a few ways of doing most jobs, so I thought I'd just show with a couple of tools I have to do it. Then I'll show you with the double nut method and a few little things like that. So first up, and this is one of my favourite ones, I've got a little Toledo set, and it's a stud puller from Toledo. This is a 12mm one, but the 12mm one works fine on the 7/16 head studs, and it's a little setup where as you turn it, these little dogs come out and grab a stud. So I'll just pick this one in the middle to pick one. So you turn it by hand. You can see the stud, you need room for the top. You turn it by hand till it locks up, and then away you go. It's that easy. Loosens it up, and then finger tight's fine. So I find this a nice one to use because it's long and it's narrow in the body. There's no part number, or is there a part number on it? But it comes in a little set. Toledo stud puller wrench, chrome vanadium. No, I haven't got a part number for that. The other way to do the job is another stud puller. Now, these are an old Litchfield stud puller. Now, you find these at car boot sales, garage sales and things like that, second-hand shops. A lot of people must have had them in the day. They work well. Now, this has a part number. It's, what are we looking at here? Litchfield number is E600. And this works well. Now, say we pick this stud here. Oh, how it works is you have 2 different size holes. You pick the hole to suit. Then as you turn this eccentric with a knurled serration there, it comes and jams across the hole there. So that helps get the tension on the stud that you're looking for. So you bring it down, you turn it until it sort of locks on that serration comes and locks onto the stud, and then basically the same procedure, away you go. And then with this one you've got to push it a bit to get it back out, and away you go, finger tight again. Now this is a good tool without a doubt. The only reason I prefer the other tool to this tool is this has a bigger body there. You can see if you had two, well, say this stud here, if you pull this down, where are we? Yeah, so you could pull that back around here and lock it in, and hopefully it come loose before it actually came around and hit this next stud there. So being a narrow body, the Toledo one is the one I like to use. This one here too, by the time you bring the serration in, then you try and turn it, you're out to about here. And look, that would do the job. Once it's finger tight, that's all you need. You know, once you can get to the stud. Where are we here? Yeah, so that's worked okay, and now we're at maximum travel. We're hitting this stud here. So it's still not finger tight, so we'd have to do it again. So, pardon me, I do prefer the Toledo one. The Toledo one on that stud there will just go straight on and you spin him until he's out, like the job's, spin him until the job's done. So, and look, that's just how it is. Just, I don't get free tools or anything, it's just what I have here and what I've bought over the years. And I remember buying this tool and, oh geez, I thought that was a flash tool back in the day. But you can see there's a little bit of surface rust on it from me not using it really. Okay, there's another way to do this. Most of you will know about this, I'm supposing. So with the head off, you get yourself a head stud. Now, have a look at the head studs. Some of them are rounded at the back and flat on one side. So what we're doing here, we're screwing this stud down, or screwing the nut down as far as it will go. So we just take him right down. See, this one's getting a little bit tight there, but it's only from a little bit of rust or something. So probably if you had a die nut on the tight ones and you run the die nut down, just to clean the threads. So with that nut there, you grab another head nut, I'm sorry, and you bring it down over the top. And the idea is to have 2 full nuts of thread if possible. Like this, it's not possible. So you hold the bottom nut, you grab the spanner and you lock them together fairly firm. So you've just jammed those 2 nuts together on the thread, and then put a spanner on the bottom nut, and there you go. Then once it's loose, you can just do what you like. So once again, once it's finger tight, you can hold the bottom nut, loosen them off while it's easy. So this top nut will come off. Just put him over there. And this stud will come out, no worries. But what you need to do then, normally, when you get right down the bottom there, normally you need to hold this in the vise and unscrew that nut and go again. So there's 3 methods, they all work well. One of them doesn't involve buying any new gear for your shop. You've already got the tools, as in the 2 nuts, and hopefully you have 2 11/16 spanners. The Toledo one is my pick, just for size only, no other reason. And the old Litchfield tool, well, it works a treat too. And even in the tight spaces, you can normally find a position for it. So that's how to get all the studs out. I'll get them all out, and that'll give us a nice flat surface here. So later in the job, we're not doing it just yet, but later in the job when we need to tidy this top surface of the block up, so we can put a puller in and pull these liners out, or press them out in the press, whichever way we decide to go. Yeah, we have a nice flat surface, so we can get it setting true. So there you go. That's a couple of ways on how to get your head studs out of the block on a Perkins.